Hey YouTube fans, Eric Hayden here at the house today. I want to talk briefly about the potted up roses from Palatine. I want to show you something that's going on with those with regards to the cold weather. If you've watched our prior videos, again, these arrived in early December. We potted these up. Up north when I lived in New York State, I had way better luck planting in the late fall. Despite the harsh winter, the roses remained dormant because of that, and they did just fine in the spring. Here down south, I've had more trouble planting bare roots in the fall, and it wasn't because of the winter. It was more because as we got toward late winter and spring, we would warm up, and then we would have some late cold snaps. And I had one rose die and a couple get close to death. I dug them up and potted them up and revived them. So the last couple of years, I've had way more luck potting these bare roots up. I do leave them outside, as I've been mentioning, so they stay as stunted in terms of growth as possible. I don't want them in a warm house. I don't want these going crazy. But you can see, and you've seen from my prior videos, they still are leafing out. And when I mean leaving them outside, down to about 28, 27 degrees, I leave them outside. Otherwise, I bring them into the garage and bring them inside on those real cold nights. Recently, we've had some crazy temperature swings. We were in the 20s the other morning, 40s for highs, and today we're briefly in the 60s. So I've left them outside through that period. Again, unless it got below 27, I would bring them in. You might say, well, man, 27, 28 is kind of cold. Why don't you bring them in? Again, I want them to stay as slow growing as possible. They're still leafing out. They still look good. At those temperatures, they're not damaged really bad. You may notice they get a little bit of, I call it burnt. You know, they do get some death on some of the outside bud eyes and leaves. And this is what I mean. This one certainly got zapped by the cold. And you can see it. These are both moonstone. You can see it here. You know, really good green leaves. And then these right here, I just call it got zapped by the cold weather. Am I concerned? Not really. The reason being, again, I don't want these things growing too quick. Now that we're getting later into the winter here, I may start trying to push them along a little bit. Here's Gemini to show the example on that. These leaves are fine, but these right here got burnt a little bit. In a worst case scenario, what will happen is if this, bud eye did get zapped, there are two other bud eyes. There's the middle one, which pushes out first, and then the two on the side. But let's just say this whole thing fails. All I'll do is go lower on the plant. So I'll just cut that tip off and we're good to go. So this is why I'm not concerned. Look at lower on the plant. I'm trying to zoom in at the same time. It's a little difficult with just two hands trying to operate the camera as well. But this is what I mean. This bud eye here is very dormant. This one is just barely pushing out. It's much more protected than these leaves. So we have many opportunities lower in the plant for growth. And you can see all of those. Bud eye, bud eye, bud eye, bud eye. So you just cut back to a good bud eye if you have any damage on the tips. And that's why I'm not concerned. And I should mention again, any bud eye, the first one that pops out is the terminal one, the middle one. But you can't see it here. I'm trying to do it, but it's hard. It has other chances to grow. So here's one right here that's pushing out. It's not focusing good for me. This one here is pushing out, but there's one on each side. So there's actually 3 chances per bud eye to, for it to grow. So no big deal. If we got some dieback on the canes, again, no big deal. You just prune a little bit farther down the cane and things will be good. So pretty quick video. Just want to give you an update, show you that yes, 27, 28 degrees can maybe nip the ends of the canes, the most vulnerable leaves, but overall the whole the bush is fine. And that's because the bud eyes are more dormant lower down, and we have a lot of activity down here ready to grow. As we get through the winter, I'm going to be putting these inside a little more. So if we do get some late cold into the months of later February or March, then I will certainly bring these in. I'm babying them. So November, or really December, January, those months I babied them in terms of I brought them in on extreme cold nights, but I did let them get pretty cold because I didn't want them growing. As we get towards spring, I'll start babying them more. I'll bring them in on most cold nights so they grow as well as possible. So that's it. As always, subscribe, and I appreciate the new followers and subscribers we've gotten here over the past couple days.